Hello and welcome to Better Body Movement. This class is designed to help you start feeling well.
I have less pain, literally eliminate that pain.
I just feel better.
I can tell that my posture is changing.
Bright light in the day when we've done our workouts online.
Makes me feel so good about myself.
The calf is predominantly made up of two different muscles, the soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius. As you can see here, both muscles connect to the Achilles tendon that pulls on the back of the heel. The gastrocnemius also has two different heads that pass the knee joint to the back of the femur. The gastrocnemius and soleus both work to create plantar flexion, whereas the gastrocnemius also assists with knee flexion. Start sitting on the floor using a foam roller. Begin by placing your calves on the foam roller. Using the weight of your legs, flex and point the foot to create a better release. As you work up the calf, roll the knee outward and inward to get more of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius heads. Continue to work through that tissue for 7 to 10 repetitions on each part of the calf that is tender. Next, use the massage stick. To make sure the calf is loose, use a step stool to lift the foot and allow the muscle to relax. Start near the bottom of the soleus and pull towards the top of the gastrocnemius. When you find a tender spot or a knot, stop the massage stick where it is and create pressure into that spot, creating a jostling motion without rolling the massage stick up and down. Make sure you breathe and relax the muscle tissue. Continue this same process all throughout the soleus and gastrocnemius, even the side of the lower leg, until you feel you've gotten all of the tender spots. Be sure to use firm pressure as you roll the tissue. The muscles running most deep to the soleus are the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus. The tibialis posterior is responsible for inversion of the foot. The flexor digitorum longus runs all the way to the tip of the toes, creating flexion of the four toes and assists with plantar flexion of the ankle. From those illustrations, you can see how the muscles in the lower leg control the toes. To work the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus, we are going to need a lacrosse ball and a chair. With your leg on a hard chair and the foot over the edge, place a lacrosse ball in between the gastrocnemius muscles and press down into the tissue. Work the medial and lateral portions the same way you work the tissue of the tibialis posterior. Press into the ball and pull your foot up while you breathe in. After a full contraction up, drop the foot and relax your breath. Work your way to the medial portions, continuing to breathe during the contract and relax sequence for 7 to 10 repetitions. Then move out to the lateral portions for 7 to 10 repetitions. The calf is predominantly made up of two different muscles, the soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius. As you can see here, both muscles connect to the Achilles tendon that pulls on the back of the heel. The gastrocnemius also has two different heads that pass the knee joint to the back of the femur. The gastrocnemius and soleus both work to create plantar flexion, whereas the gastrocnemius also assists with knee flexion. Start sitting on the floor using a foam roller. Begin by placing your calves on the foam roller. Using the weight of your legs, flex and point the foot to create a better release. As you work up the calf, roll the knee outward and inward to get more of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius heads. Continue to work through that tissue for 7 to 10 repetitions on each part of the calf that is tender. Next, use the massage stick. To make sure the calf is loose, use a step stool to lift the foot and allow the muscle to relax. Start near the bottom of the soleus and pull towards the top of the gastrocnemius. When you find a tender spot or a knot, stop the massage stick where it is and create pressure into that spot, creating a jostling motion without rolling the massage stick up and down. Make sure you breathe and relax the muscle tissue. Continue this same process all throughout the soleus and gastrocnemius, even the side of the lower leg, until you feel you've gotten all of the tender spots. Be sure to use firm pressure as you roll the tissue. The muscles running most deep to the soleus are the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus. The tibialis posterior is responsible for inversion of the foot. The flexor digitorum longus runs all the way to the tip of the toes, creating flexion of the four toes and assists with plantar flexion of the ankle. From those illustrations, you can see how the muscles in the lower leg control the toes. To work the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus, we are going to need a lacrosse ball and a chair. With your leg on a hard chair and the foot over the edge, place a lacrosse ball in between the gastrocnemius muscles and press down into the tissue. Work the medial and lateral portions the same way you work the tissue of the tibialis posterior. Press into the ball and pull your foot up while you breathe in. After a full contraction up, drop the foot and relax your breath. Work your way to the medial portions, continuing to breathe during the contract and relax sequence for 7 to 10 repetitions. Then move out to the lateral portions for 7 to 10 repetitions. The calf is predominantly made up of two different muscles, the soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius. As you can see here, both muscles connect to the Achilles tendon.
Hello, good morning. Sorry about this morning. I know the link on the Facebook event was not accurate because I had a malfunction with one of the videos, so then I had to restart and I couldn't find the old link because apparently that link now is only 25 seconds long and will be good for nothing. But if you have joined us, we appreciate it. So glad you're here. If you could please subscribe to our channel so that way we can continue to update you and keep you moving well. We always go through some iDedicates and then a verse of the day. So our iDedicates, we've got Lori's mom who's doing dialysis 3 times a week. Ethan, stage 4 liver and bile duct cancer, praying for him and his family through that time. My friend's wife who was diagnosed with breast cancer, she is doing very well. There's basically stagnation with what she has, so that's good news when it's like that. Then Sky, continuing to pray for her against that graft versus host disease, and then coming off medications as well. That is pretty much a big deal. She was on 30 different medications, so now she's coming off of those. So hopefully that's a fairly smooth process, basically getting her body to detox, and then praying for Daryl and Cheney still.
Dale got cremated, as had been for several weeks. By the time Daryl finally called.
Okay.
But then, but I think we need to leave Cheney on there. They still have not done anything about that.
Okay.
Continuous glucose monitor.
Okay, so Cheney still needs a continuous glucose monitor, so we'll pray for him. Daryl, everything was figured out with his brother, so that's good. And then we are going to add Randy. Found out he has an arterial aneurysm. He said AAA. Maybe he meant that way. Arterial aneurysm something. But basically they found on a CT scan a arterial aneurysm, so now it's kind of almost living in...
The 3rd of June.
Okay. Yep. So 3rd of June, they'll go in and check out what's going on there and then what they're able to do for that. So continue to pray for him. For me, it's always one of those, I want to pray for the miracle first, so that way when he goes into the doctor, they go, oh, nothing there. So let's pray for that. So pray with us for Randy today during this time, so that way we can see some miracles happen. We always love that. Our verse of the day, do not be not quick in your spirit to become angry, for anger lodges in the heart of fools. Ecclesiastes 7:9. So, you want to be a fool, but get angry. There you go. Sounds simple enough.
Quick to anger. Is that what the definition of anger is?
Being quick.
Well, people can't hang on to anger.
All right, so today is a leg day. So obviously, for those of you who have been with us for a while, you noticed that Noah has gone on to a different shift. He's taken Tuesday mornings now instead of Wednesday mornings with the shift of summer schedule, and he's not doing college stuff. We're getting more hours out of him, so that's absolutely fantastic to have him for that. But with that comes changes, so I appreciate you guys being here and being patient while we work through that. All right, small circles backwards. Large circles forward. Remember, take those shoulders through their range of motion, right? We really want to make sure that they're warming up and feeling different positions, right? We don't want to just go through the arms, but take the shoulders all the way back, all the way up when you reach up, all the way forward. That way those can feel out what's going on. Nice movement through the shoulder blades, again, especially on these external rotations, pulling those shoulders back, feeling the shoulder blades going down. Right. Good core compression, squeeze really firm. Staying nice and tall. As we march, we're just getting that blood pumping, but again, we want to be thinking about the balance. Think about your hips, how we march, right? We're not hiking the hip up to get things moving. We want those hips to stay stationary, right? We're not hiking them up in the air. Good movement through. Leg swings, again, if you've got any sort of problem in your low back, maybe some arthritis, any of that, you can keep your hips more stationary. You don't have to rotate underneath, but just, get the joint going at least, trying to swing that leg back and forth. Found out our sample piece of the tight spot, Cleared Customs, is passed through Cincinnati. I think it's on its way to Minneapolis. So that was really fun. fun to get those notifications. Signed up for text message notifications, so I can send it right away. Again, through these, compress your spine, make sure it's not rotating underneath if you've got issues. Okay, here we go. Remember, stay tall through this. When we do hip flexor stretches, we want to tuck the butt, right? I'm not just leaning back through this. I want to actually tuck the hips underneath. Right? And when you tuck the hips and straighten the knee, you'll feel this open up in the front. Right? 1, 2, 3. Get a good pull up and switch. 1, 2, 3. Get a good pull up and switch. Very good. Again, stay tall, compress that core and tuck your butt.
Get ready to squat.
Okay, here we go. Get ready for some squats. I'm going to move myself right there.
3, 2, 1, squat.
Good squats. Remember, as we go through these, you're ripping the floor apart. We want the hips way up high on the back side of the butt cheek, right, way up here, to be really tight. And that comes from doing that external pressure or thinking you're ripping a newspaper apart with your feet, right, driving out, out, out. Okay. Again, stay tall and tight. Squeeze that core nice and firm. So again, it's how we create the movement that makes the biggest difference.
Transition to single leg step down.
Okay. Single leg step downs.
3.
So single leg work, anytime we step down or up, right, we want to make sure that we have good control through the movement. Good control through the movement.
I can't believe you.
That's halfway.
She said, no, I just went to my PT. I said, she will help you with that, don't you remember?
Yeah, heck yeah. We help with all sorts of stuff around here. Remember, good core compression through your movement. So our Monday work, right, still applies. Tuesday's work, holding those shoulder blades down and back still applies. Making sure that you've got good function throughout the entire movement. Okay?
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Okay, good, good, good.
That's
Remember,
halfway.
anytime we're doing this single leg work, we want to be balanced, okay? So as we sit, we don't want the hips to shift underneath us, especially if you're pressing up from a step, right? We don't want to be pressing and twisting our hips. Right? That core compression is going to help lead to a nice braced spine.
1. Transition to good morning.
Okay, good mornings. Remember, with a good morning, the whole point is you're pushing your butt to the wall behind you. Okay? This is not bend over and reach for your toes.
Good morning.
Okay? The whole point is push your butt backwards. Okay? It should kind of pull you back onto your heels a little bit. And then as you squeeze, you're driving your hips forward, tucking your butt as you go. Okay? Good squeezes. Come up nice and tall.
That's halfway. 3, 2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Good.
3,
Monster
2,
walks, band at the
1.
knees.
Monster walk.
Unless your knees already go towards each other, you want to put it down at the ankle. It's harder at the ankles if your knees buckle inward, right? Like they're kind of touching towards each other. You want the band at your knees to force those knees to come out,
That's halfway.
and that's going to help us build external rotation into the hips. Okay. The more time you spend on one foot here, the more work you're getting out of it, right? So if you take a step and kind of leave both feet planted, that's really not doing anything, right? It's when you balance and then
3,
press
2,
that your hips are getting the
1.
work.
Transition to VMO left.
Had a good email from Carol the other day. Said she's doing a couple months transition after her PT work, getting some stuff in, and then as soon as she's done with her transition
3,
period, she'll come back to
2,
class.
1.
I think she'll join
VMO
you
left.
ladies here. So that'll be fun. Yep, she had a total knee. Good. Again, nice tight compression through the knee, right? You're straightening the knee as tight as you possibly can, then lift and
That's
set
halfway.
back down. Right? Good, firm compression. Okay, again, doing your absolute best all the way through.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Okay, VMO on the other side. Remember, as we go through these, you're trying to straighten that knee as tight as you possibly can.
3, 2, 1. VMO right.
Get those legs nice and tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. How are you doing?
That's halfway.
Perfect.
3,
All right, ladies, very good.
1. Transition to hamstring curl.
We go good hamstring curls. Remember, drive those heels as hard as you can. Right, bend those knees. Sit nice and tall.
3,
Okay, your postural,
1. Hamstring.
your postural position still matters. Shoulder blades down and back. Squeeze those heels into the foam roller really, really tight. Good compression, right? Through the core, through the shoulders. It's still important to be in that position. Drive those heels hard, hard, hard. Right?
That's halfway.
Very good, ladies. Working through it all the way. Doing your best. Good. Pull hard, 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 hard. Drive those heels, heels, heels.
Long rest.
Awesome. All right, long rest. Go ahead and get your drink of water. The next 3 rounds, right, you get to choose how you want to take your intensity, right? Which direction do you want to go? If you're just trying simply to figure out movement, how do I make my legs and my butt and my core and my shoulders work together through this movement? You want to go really slow, right? Let the brain connect to all of that tissue through a slow movement. Like you're going to have to be intentional to tell yourself, right? Core tight, shoulders down and back, rip that floor apart, continue to squeeze through the butt. If you want to work on strength, add resistance. If you want to work on
2,
cardio,
1.
add repetitions.
Get ready to squat.
Okay, so you can move more resistance or you can move with more repetitions through the movement. Okay, here we go.
3, 2, 1. Squat.
Again, through your squat, you should be compressing your core. So if you need to, Put your fingers into your stomach, right? Drive into them. Make sure that's tight all the way down and on the way up. That's where you're going to see the best bracing of your spine. Right?
That's halfway.
Because sometimes when we go through a squat, we'll all of a sudden really arch the back to go through it, or we might really tuck the butt and get too far into that position. Right? We want to make sure that we're holding firm in that neutral spot. That's why tomorrow is such an important day.
1. Transition to single leg step down.
Single leg work. So when we do our single leg work, go back through your core, make sure your hips are not hiking. Okay, we shouldn't be driving up to the sides.
Single leg step down.
Continue to compress that core all the way through. Every so often, like every maybe third repetition, you might need to reset. Get your core tight.
That's halfway.
Remember, we do have one round for each leg, so you don't have to switch at the halfway point. Right? Squeeze tight. Core compressed. Firm, firm, firm. All the way through.
3, 2, 1. Switch sides.
All right, other leg.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Here we go. Good core compression. Again, do not let your spine change. The whole point is to compress like core day. Right? So if you haven't seen core day, you need to be here tomorrow. Good
That's
compression.
halfway.
Drive through it. Squeeze your butt cheeks tight. Creaky, cracky Rice Krispie Puffs. Well, I think we can give you a pass because a knife was involved.
2, 1.
Party, I didn't
Transition to good morning.
She couldn't get it.
Oh,
That's the kind of
yeah. All right, good mornings. Remember,
2, 1. Good morning.
it's like an Asian greeting. Hello. But
Namaste.
back to the wall. Butt to the wall. Travel horizontally. We're not thinking chest to the floor. Do not reach down, right? I don't want you reaching down. I want your butt to travel backwards. The whole
That's
while,
halfway.
the core should be compressed, right? Think of baseball bats whacking you in the stomach. We're so kind around here that we would whack you with a baseball bat. That is a kind thing to do.
3, 2, 1. Transition to monster walk.
Awesome. All right, here we go. Monster walks. Get set. Remember, it's more difficult at the ankles, but if your knees kind of cave inward, put the band at your knees and force those knees out.
2, 1. Monster walk.
Again, it's always about how we compress through the core and the butt cheeks, right? Both should be tight in that squatted position. Okay, you're still pressing outward, loading the butt. Load the butt.
That's halfway.
This is a buttload of work.
Did you really say that?
Yeah. Well, I think better than dad jokes are either massage jokes or trainer jokes.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left.
Good. Here we go. VMO on the other leg. Or on your left leg, make sure when we do this, you're pressing your heel away and pull the toes up. Okay? You're really trying to straighten the knee. That's the
3,
focus.
2, 1. VMO left.
Yeah, good. I like seeing that. So Lois did like a little primer, just leg straight on, with the heel on the floor, and then just kind of pump the knee, right? Get the kneecap moving, make sure the knee's working, get it tight, then you can raise up, hold firm through the knee. Again, you can
That's
change
halfway.
positions of the foot, rotating the leg just a little. You're going to feel different muscles work within there. straightening the knee is the main part. If your quad or upper leg up front starts to feel like it's cramping, fantastic, you're doing it right.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Awesome. Okay, VMO on the other side. Remember, do your absolute
3,
best here.
2, 1. VMO right.
Maintain tall posture if you're sitting. If we're using a band connected to the wall, right, we want to make sure that we're driving the heel into the floor, straighten the knee, and peel the toe up, right? You should still be doing that even while you're in the chair. You're thinking heel away, straighten the leg
That's
as hard as
halfway.
possible, and peel the toes back as much as you can. Good, tight squeeze, firm, firm, firm. Again, your absolute best all the way through.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Good hamstring curls. Remember, you're pulling those heels into the foam roller as hard as you
3,
can, still tall.
2, 1. Hamstring.
Okay, so we start by checking core, shoulders, make sure they're on, pull those heels. Bend those knees hard, hard, hard. Right? If you feel it 2-3 seconds and that's enough, relax, reset. Core, shoulders, pull the heels hard, hard, hard. Bend those knees. Drive those heels into the floor. Pull
That's
them back.
halfway.
Good tight squeezes. Good tight squeezes. And doing your absolute best all the way through the movements.
3, 2,
Fantastic
1.
work.
Long rest.
All right, 2 rounds down, 2 to go. Again, pick what you want to do for your training. Your training is what matters most to me. So if you need to connect the brain to the muscle tissue, go slow, slow, slow. It should be like a 4-second down, right? If we're doing squats, 4 seconds down, 2, 3, 4, hold for 2, and then push up for 4. Slow movement, making sure everything is working. Butt, belly, bra strap, all are engaged. You want more strength, add resistance. That can be a weight, it can be a band, however you need to add
2,
resistance.
1. Get ready to squat.
Okay. Here we go. Get ready, set up. And the last one, if you want to do more repetitions, you can do more repetitions. Work your way through it, but
3,
always
2,
controlling the butt, belly, and bra strap. Okay. Rip the floor part. Rip the floor part. Nice and tight. Okay. So before you ever go down, you should be driving the feet out. Control the movement down. Right? Mirrors are great on your squats just to check too how your body does, right? If you're
That's
shifting
halfway.
left or right, that's a problem. That's a compensation. So that's one to watch for, right? So if I even set myself up on half of the screen here, I can check myself as I go down, right? Because if I go down and I start to slide over and I see more of
2,
myself,
1.
I know I'm
Transition to
transitioning,
single
right? So
leg
to
step
fix that
down.
compensation, I need to pull myself over and see, okay, that's normal or that's centered. Now I can go through the movement, okay? So you can use that as a
2,
technique to help
1.
fix
Single leg
imbalances.
step down.
Okay, single leg step downs, you can do lunges, right? When we stay stationary, down and push up, right? We're using both legs. We're trying to make that a vertical movement, straight up and down like an elevator. I don't want to be riding the escalator, moving my body forward and backward.
That's halfway.
Okay. RDLs like Jacob, body straight, hip is down to the floor, right? I don't want you opening your body up, keep that closed, and squeeze up. Okay, again, no matter what we do, core compressed, shoulders in place.
1. Switch sides.
Awesome. Okay, switch it up. Switch it, change it, rearrange it.
3, 2, 1. Single leg step down.
Okay, single leg step down. Again, remember, core compressed, shoulders down and back. Doing your absolute best. Again, squeeze. Do not let your hips shift, especially if you're using stairs to do a step up. If you're using just like one step, you push up, make sure that you're controlled through the hips. I don't want to see hiking and shifting through the movement. Okay? Very good.
2, 1. Transition to good morning.
Awesome. Okay, get set for the good morning. Again, we're not reaching for your toes. We are pushing your butt to the wall behind you.
3, 2, 1. Good morning.
Okay, so again, my driving force is thinking something is around my waist, pulling my hips back. Well, really around the hips, not the waist. Okay, so right at the hip joint, I'm pushing my butt backwards. The more straight your knees are, the more you're going to feel that in the back of the hamstrings. That stretch is good. Then we want to contract those hamstrings and the butt simultaneously, and that's what drives us upward. Because again, our spine should not change. That should be held in control by the core and the shoulders. Right? So we're posturing the same as if we're standing up. Okay. Good monster walks. Get that band set up. Make sure you're thinking squeeze a penny between the butt cheeks, even though it feels impossible.
Monster walk.
Good control. Always thinking through. Again, belly, bra strap, hold tight. So as we sit here, we're not slumping our back and just kind of going through this. We still want to be tall through our spine as we step. Okay, tall through the spine, core compressed, holding tight. Firm compression. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Nice and tight.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO left. Three, 2, 1. VMO left.
Core compress, sit tall, shoulder blades down and back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Again, doing your absolute best all the way through, making sure that your knee is locked. You want that quad to feel like it's cramping, right? Again, pull the toes towards the knee, flex your foot, drive your heel away. That's going to straighten the leg even more. Firm. Nice, tight squeeze. Good job.
3, 2, 1. Transition to VMO right.
Awesome. Okay, other leg.
Three, 2, 1.
Here we go.
VMO right.
You might put your foot right by the corner of the door there, so that closes the door. Okay. Hello?
That's halfway.
Good, good, good. Remember, stay tall and tight. Shoulder blades down and back. Core is compressed, really firm.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring curl.
Good, good, good.
Good morning. How are you doing today, sir? Good. All right. Welcome to Mulligan Physical Therapy.
3,
Seems
2,
like fun.
1. Hamstring.
All right, here we go. Good hamstring pulls. Drive those heels hard.
So this is Tim.
Bend those knees.
He'll be your physical therapist today. You can come on back. Are you Thomas? Tom? Tom, nice to meet you. Well, come on back. Well, we're going to see you right over here.
That's halfway.
chilly
Good,
today,
good,
though,
good. Nice tight squeezes. Pull those heels. Sit
Now, I think
nice
we had
and
a-
tall.
How long ago was that?
3, 2, 1. Long rest.
You had salt. Did you have?
Okay, long rest. Go ahead and get a drink of water set up for round 4. This will be our last round, so I want your absolute best all the way through.
Before you fell, were you using a walker like this? Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Just too fast for me now.
Okay, yeah. A little aggressive. This slows you down just a little bit, doesn't it?
3,
This walker.
2, 1. Get ready to squat.
It's good to see.
All right, last round. Get set up and ready to go.
Oh, where are you going?
2, 1.
You're coming along for the ride, huh, Tom?
That's great. Right?
Good, good, good. Tall and tight, core compressed, shoulders
That's
down and
halfway.
back. Remember, as you stand up, you're squeezing those butt cheeks nice and tight.
We could always get shirts. We have some. You like shirts, Tom? All right. Walking advertisement, huh?
2, 1. Transition to single leg step down.
I think if I
We good. Yeah. We got couple different options.
3, 2.
If I remember correctly,
1.
Tom, did you used to
Single
live
leg
just
step
right by
down.
us?
You
Might not
live in
be
the neighborhood, Tom?
Okay.
That's halfway.
Right by Langdon.
Yeah. Okay.
Old house.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I got it.
Good, good, good. Tall and tight. All the way through. Again, remember, don't hike your hips trying to push, right? You want to make sure that the spine stays braced.
1. Switch sides.
And so everything we do, as far as our postural position, is trying to open the whole spine to be balanced the way that it should be.
3,
You know how that
2,
can?
1.
Oh, yeah.
Single leg
Get
step
along
down.
fine.
Good. Core tight. Shoulders down and back. Doing your best all the way through.
That right hip's a little sore.
Good, good, good.
That's halfway.
Awesome work all the way through. Core compress. Recheck those shoulders. Making sure those hips are not shifting side to side.
3, 2, 1. Transition to good morning.
There we go.
3, 2, 1.
Good.
Good morning.
Now, what I saw when you were walking,
Okay, good morning. Butt to the wall behind you. Do not think chest or shoulders to floor. Okay? We don't want to be rounding our back to try to create movement. I want the back nice and flat, shoulders
halfway.
compressed, then butt back. Squeeze the back of your leg and your butt nice and tight to stand up tall. Okay? The whole idea of bend your knees when you lift is simply because it's easier to keep a straight spine. Right? If you can press the core and hold the shoulders tight,
Transition
your
to
spine will
monster
stay in
walk.
alignment. That's what we want to make sure that we're building into your daily movements. How do I hold my spine in an appropriate alignment?
3, 2, 1. Monster walk.
Good, ladies, nice and tall. Remember, try to pinch a penny between the butt cheeks. I know that's tough when you're in a seated position or a semi-squat, but squeeze tight anyway. Try to drive those cheeks together tight, tight, tight. The loading of the hips is going to help external rotation, creating a better alignment for the hips all the way down the legs. That's what sets us up for better knee positions, gives us more stability through the rest of our movement.
Transition to VMO left.
Here we go, good VMOs. Again, in a seated position, you want to be straightening your knee as hard as you can, then lift. Okay, so you might sit on the edge of the chair, so rather than bend the knee, straighten the knee, you might go straight leg, lift, and then set the whole thing down straight. Lift, set the whole thing down straight. Again, your best all the way through. Press, firm, squeeze, tight, tight, tight.
That's halfway.
Good work, good work. Doing your best all the way through. Core compressed. Sit tall. Shoulders, shoulders, shoulders. Straighten those knees.
3, 2, 1.
Awesome.
Transition to VMO right.
Well, if I give this an exercise,
3,
Good, here we go.
1. VMO right.
Okay, VMO on the other side. Remember, make sure you're doing your absolute best all the way through the movement. Okay? All the way through the movement. Squeeze firm. Tall and tight.
That's halfway.
Good squeeze, good squeeze. Again, straight knee, flex the foot, toes up, heels pushing away. Push the heel away.
3, 2, 1. Transition to hamstring
I
curl.
want to see. This is the one we really.
Good hamstring curls. Last one. Do your absolute best all the way through. Okay, your absolute best. Pull those heels hard.
1.
Bending those knees. And again, shoulder blades down and back, nice and firm. Again, posture is everything to our movement. So whether we're sitting, standing, pressing, pulling, core tight, glutes on, and then shoulders down and back. Hold firm, 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 all the way through. If you need to reset, that's perfectly fine. Reset the core, reset the shoulders. Get your body established in its appropriate alignment, then create your movement. Okay? Movement's secondary to creating a stable environment for your spine.
3, 2, 1. Long rest.
Good. Good, good, good. Awesome work. So glad you guys were able to make it today. Get our leg day in. Remember, tomorrow we're doing a core day that is specifically designed to teach you how to brace your spine and get your shoulders into an appropriate alignment, so that way you can start applying that whole idea of core compression and spinal stability every single day. Okay? Because again, a big part of our focus is if your brain is going to tell your body where and how to move, it needs to be able to communicate appropriately. So the muscles that hold your spine, right, hold the bones of your vertebrae, or hold your vertebrae in place, we don't want those muscles to be compensated, creating compression on the spine, or on the nerve, right? So that nerve comes out. If that bone comes down and pinches that nerve, it's going to mix up the communication signals, and then muscles begin to not fire the way that they should, or it's going to send a pain signal back to the brain. So if we continue to learn how to brace our spine and kind of open those doors, create a little bit more gap or space in the vertebrae, we will begin to change the output down the rest of the body. So I want that so much for you. Remember, if this is your first time joining us, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us be able to do this and continue to work for you. We want what's best for you, and I know That is to apply better body movement every single day. I hope you have a fantastic day. We are going to go back into the self-massage work. This is also the other part of balancing the body that is so, so important to the way that you work. Okay? Have a wonderful day. We will see you again tomorrow.
The calf is predominantly made up of two different muscles, the soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius. As you can see here, both muscles connect to the Achilles tendon that pulls on the back of the heel. The gastrocnemius also has two different heads that pass the knee joint to the back of the femur. The gastrocnemius and soleus both work to create plantar flexion, whereas the gastrocnemius also assists with knee flexion. Start sitting on the floor using a foam roller. Begin by placing your calves on the foam roller. Using the weight of your legs, flex and point the foot to create a better release. As you work up the calf, roll the knee outward and inward to get more of the lateral and medial gastrocnemius heads. Continue to work through that tissue for 7 to 10 repetitions on each part of the calf that is tender. Next, use the massage stick. To make sure the calf is loose, use a step stool to lift the foot and allow the muscle to relax. Start near the bottom of the soleus and pull towards the top of the gastrocnemius. When you find a tender spot or a knot, stop the massage stick where it is and create pressure into that spot, creating a jostling motion without rolling the massage stick up and down. Make sure you breathe and relax the muscle tissue. Continue this same process all throughout the soleus and gastrocnemius, even the side of the lower leg, until you feel you've gotten all of the tender spots. Be sure to use firm pressure as you roll the tissue. The muscles running most deep to the soleus are the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus. The tibialis posterior is responsible for inversion of the foot. The flexor digitorum longus runs all the way to the tip of the toes, creating flexion of the four toes and assists with plantar flexion of the ankle. From those illustrations, you can see how the muscles in the lower leg control the toes. To work the tibialis posterior and the flexor digitorum longus, we are going to need a lacrosse ball and a chair. With your leg on a hard chair and the foot over the edge, place a lacrosse ball in between the gastrocnemius muscles and press down into the tissue. Work the medial and lateral portions the same way you work the tissue of the tibialis posterior. Press into the ball and pull your foot up while you breathe in. After a full contraction up, drop the foot and relax your breath. Work your way to the medial portions, continuing to breathe during the contract and relax sequence for 7 to 10 repetitions. Then move out to the lateral portions for 7 to 10 repetitions.
Be worth it.
Maybe do demonstration.